Hi guys, this is Megan again. So the last video I did was the tour of the mansion inside. So today we're going to check out the horse barn. So this barn was built in 1887 and was originally used for the horses that were used for the daily operations of the ranch. And we're going to go inside in a minute, but I just wanted to point out some special little exterior features that are kind of cool. So up here, if you can see up here on the peak of the roof, there is a white heart with a hole through it. Now this was Bill's nod to Annie Oakley, who was a sharpshooter in the Wild West show. And her trademark was to shoot a hole through the Ace of Hearts. And those cards would then be given as souvenirs to the spectators at the Wild West show. So there's one on each end of the barn on the peak. And then there's also, if we go and look here underneath the eave of the barn, in the rafters, they are shaped like rifle butts. Now there's 73 on each side, and this is because Bill's favorite rifle was the Winchester 73. So that was a nod to his favorite rifle. Alright. So now we're gonna head inside. Let's see if my camera adjusts to. Alright. So you'll see down this corridor, just as we come in, there are 16 stalls here, and these were used for the horses that helped in the daily operations of the ranch. So there's 16 stalls here, and they're kind of plain, but I will show you this. The interesting thing is these feed chutes, and we'll get a better picture of them upstairs in the hayloft, but these basically supplied the horses with an endless supply of feed and straw. So then you can see the troughs here as well. So now we're gonna head this way. And you can see in this back corner is our blacksmith shop. It's a real working forge. Now this is something typical of a setup which would normally be used in that time period as well. So this is a pretty close to a typical setup of how they would have done it back then. Alright, so now we're gonna head this way. So you'll notice these box stalls, and they originally extended all the way down the length of this corridor on this side, and the box stalls were used for Cody's more special horses, you could say, or the ones he used on a daily basis just for private use. So they were pretty spacious for his private horses. So here we've got some photographs of the Irma Hotel. I'll just give a slow pan of these. And now the Irma Hotel was the hotel that Cody built in Wyoming and was named after his youngest daughter, Irma. And then we've got some more photographs over here. And if you'll remember when I was talking about the T-barn that burned down in 1904, this is a lot better picture of it. And I said it was double the size of the barn we're in now. So it was definitely a whole lot bigger than the barn used for horses. Now of course cattle are bigger, and so that barn would have had to have been bigger for them to use for cattle. So we just got some more pictures here. This is also a really good picture because it shows it shows the ranch at a distance. And then this picture is a good one because it shows the mansion prior to the 1909 remodel. this was the mansion in its early days. You can see there's a few trees, young trees that were planted in the yard. So that's a really good representation of what the house looked like before the 1909 remodel. So we're just gonna keep heading down this corridor here. There's lots of show bills too. And then we have some photographs from the Wild West show. There's Bill and Louisa there in front of their personal train car. And then we have the Wild West troupe and lots of different shots from the Wild West show. And then as we come down this corridor, you're gonna see we've got a couple of wagons here. So this one here is a Conestoga, and this is typically what pioneers traveled west on. So pretty similar to this. The next one down is just another carriage. And then at the end here we have our chuck wagon. Now these were used, they were nice because they could, you could pack a lot of food, which is what the back end was for. There's drawers and food could be prepared quite easily on something like this. So now we'll cross the corridor here. Just some more posters, which they're really, really big, but they are a nice representation of how the Wild West show was advertised in its day. So as we head back down, we're going the way we came down. I'll come back up here because I did forget to show you something here. So you'll notice we have a whole bunch of these posters up here above the box stalls. Now these are all show bills that were put up by Cody at the time the ranch was in operation. So they haven't really been touched since then. So they're kind of deteriorating naturally. But then on this side, we have a couple of those show bills replicated. So this one here is also on the other wall, but it's of distinguished visitors from 1887. So you'll notice we have Queen Victoria up top there, a few princesses, a countess, and so a few other princesses, and then Buffalo Bill there in the middle. So you can see they've kind of recreated what was this poster up here, which you can still kind of make it out on that one. But it is nice to see what they looked like when they were put up. All right, so now we're gonna head back down to the second corridor. We're gonna go this way. We've got a few other wagons back here as well, and lots of other photographs. So these two are just more wagons, and then we also have lots of photographs down this wall as well. Some more wagons over here. But you'll notice up here, you can see into the loft, and before there wasn't the chicken wire up there. So they could toss hay down over the side and have it feed into these troughs down here. And you could hook up a few extra horses if you had them, and they could be fed this way as well. All right, so we're gonna head up into the hayloft, and I'll show you the feed chutes so you get a better idea of what they look like. So it is really big up here too, which is nice. But you'll see towards the middle here are these very, very tall wooden chutes. And those go down into the stalls downstairs, and that's where the hay would be piled so that the horses could be fed without having to keep refilling it day after day. They could just fill the chutes from the top, and then just keep refilling them on the top as well. Now you'll see this large grapple hook here, and that was used, it's on a pulley system along the middle of the barn. And what they would do is pull wagons of hay in and bring them up through the trap door here. And they could then pitchfork it up into the chutes. So that was a really easy method, and it's less labor intensive that way as well. So we're just gonna keep walking here. There's more of the chutes I was telling you about. And then down here, of course, where I was telling you about the chicken wire. Originally this wire wasn't here, so they could put hay over the side of this and feed extra horses if they had to. So we're gonna keep going this way here. And it just goes all the way around, and we are essentially back to where we started, down in the main corridor of the barn when you walk through the front door. So we are pretty much back where we started. We have a lot of tack on this wall as well. And at one point this was one of the biggest barns in the state. So Buffalo Bill was very effective and initiative and very modern when this barn was built. Now up here is a meat hanger. So this is where all your, say, deer or something to that effect would be hung to let them dry and stuff like that after you cut them. So that is there as well. And this is also, the barn also has a grain elevator, which is what these chutes are in the ceiling. So you could pull this little wooden piece here out and you could fill your buckets of grain easier because the grain elevator in the hayloft would be full of grain as well. All right, so that is pretty much it for the barn. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later.